Everybody, my name is Lowell and welcome to the channel. So it's been suggested quite a few times in comments through our college football videos that we should do Army versus Navy. So we're going to do the history of Army Navy. So let's jump in and let's have a look at this, shall we?
It is finally Army Navy week, marking the end of the college football regular season, meaning bowl season is right around the corner. The Army-Navy game is one of my favorite rivalry games in all of college football. It is probably the most special game in all of college football, and is a game I have to talk about. This is the history of the Army-Navy football game. This is the story of the greatest college football rivalry game in all of college football. But
are they serving members?
If you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.
Okay.
I am planning to release a video every day from now until Christmas. Also, let me know who you will be rooting for in this year's matchup in the comment section below. Army began playing football in 1890 and was one of the most successful programs in the first half.
1890? Is that what he said? Okay.
Half of the 20th century. They won 3 straight national titles from 1944 to 1946, and major selectors awarded them the national titles in 1914 and 1916. Army has produced 24 players and 4 coaches in the College Football Hall of Fame, 37 consensus All-Americans, and 3 Heisman Trophy winners. They have an all-time record of 725, 545, and 51, and their main rivals are Navy, Air Force, and Notre Dame. 3 of their 4 winningest coaches have been elected to the College Football Hall of Fame, with Earl Blake being the winningest coach with a record of 121, 33, and 10. Charles Dudley Daly is the school's 3rd most winningest head coach with a record of 58, 13, and 3, followed by Jim Young with a record of 51, 39, and 1. They are currently coached by Jeff Monken, who is the school's 2nd most winningest head coach with a record of 69 and 55, and has led them to 5 bowl games, holding a 4-1 record in those games. He currently has a 5-4 record against Navy. Navy began playing football in 1879 and has also been one of the most successful programs in college football history. They won the 1926 national title according to the Boand and Hallgate poll system. The 1910 team also was undefeated and unscored upon, with their lone tie being a 0-0 game. Navy has had 19 players and 3 coaches elected into the College Football Hall of Fame. They also have 2 Heisman winners. Navy has an all-time record of 738, 598, and 57, and their main rivalries are Army, Air Force, and Notre Dame. Ken Niumatalolo is Navy's all-time winningest head coach, with a 109 and 83 record, followed by College Football Hall of Fame coach George Welsh, and Eddie Erdelatz ranks 3rd all-time with a record of 50, 26, and 8. They're currently coached by former Navy defensive coordinator Brian Newberry, who is 5-6 in his first year as head coach. He has been on staff for Navy since 2019. The first Army-Navy game was played on November 29, 1890, and took place on the Plain at West Point. Navy would win the first game of the series 24-0 over the newly formed Army team. The 271 members of the Corps of Cadets each contributed 52 cents to pay half of Navy's travel costs for the 1890 game. Following the 1893 game, there was an argument between an Army general and a Navy admiral that almost resulted in a duel. And after that, the game was put on hold until 1898. In that same 1893 game, Navy midshipman Joseph Mason Reeves wore what is believed to be the first football helmet after being advised by a Navy doctor that if he took another kick to the head, he could experience brain damage or even death.
Oh, wow.
After their football timeout, both sides had learned their lessons, and the game resumed in 1899 at Franklin Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in front of 27,000 spectators. Navy showed up to the game with their own goat, and Army quickly searched for their own mascot. The Army Mule was already legendary for its roughness and endurance, so the Mule was the obvious choice. The next cancellation of the game came in 1909 after Army canceled its remaining games after Cadet Eugene Byrne died from an injury sustained in an October game against Harvard.
Dang.
Twice during World War II, in 1917 and 1918, games were canceled on orders from the War Department. And in 1928 and 1929, the academies could not reconcile player eligibility standards. In 1926, the game was held in Chicago for the formal dedication of Soldier Field in honor of American service members who had fought in World War I. Navy came to the game undefeated, while West Point had only lost to Notre Dame, so the game would decide the national championship. Played before a crowd of over 100,000, the teams fought to a 21-21 tie, but Navy was awarded the national title. In 1944 and 1945, both teams entered the game ranked 1 and 2 in the nation, with the game in 45 being labeled the game of the century. Army won the game 32-13. In 1963, replay was debuted for an American sport in the game, a game that was almost canceled because of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, but they were urged to play by Jacqueline Kennedy. The game was pushed back from November 30th to December 7th, which also happened to coincide with the 22nd anniversary of Pearl Harbor Day. In front of a crowd of 102,000 people in Philadelphia Municipal Stadium, later renamed John F. Kennedy Stadium, junior second-classman midshipman quarterback Roger Staubach led number 2 ranked Navy to a victory which clinched a Cotton Bowl national championship matchup with Texas. Army almost pulled off the win after recovering a late onside kick, but time expired on 4th and goal on Navy's 2, with Army unable to get a play call in due to the noise. The final score was 21-15. Staubach went on to win the Heisman Trophy that season. A 1973 episode of MASH referenced a fictional Army-Navy game that ended 42-36 to Navy. To this day, no Army-Navy game has ever ended with that score. The radio announcer in the episode says the game is the 53rd Army-Navy game, which that was played in 1952, and Navy had won 7-0. In 1983, the game was played in the Rose Bowl, becoming the only stadium west of the Mississippi River to host the game. For much of the first 2/3 of the 20th century, both Army and Navy were often national powers, and the game occasionally had national championship implications. However, as the level of play in college football increased, the high academic entrance requirements and height and weight limits reduced the overall competitiveness of both academies. In 2016, Army beat Navy to snap a 14-game losing streak dating back to 2002. In 2022, Army defeated Navy 20-17 in double overtime in the first overtime game in series history. Since 1963, only 1996, 2010, 2016, and 2017 games have seen both teams enter with a winning record. The game has been on national radio since 1930 and nationally televised since 1945. CBS has televised the game since 1996 and has the rights to the broadcast through 2028. The game is primarily played in Philadelphia due to it being the middle location between the two schools. The New York area and the Baltimore-Washington area are the next most frequent places to host the game. The game will be played at Gillette Stadium this year where the New England Patriots play. Going into the 123rd meeting, Navy leads the series 62-54-7, with Navy having the largest victory in 1973, beating Army 51-0. But since 2016, Army has led the series 5-2, winning the 2022 matchup last year. The game is the last of 3 contests in the annual Commander-in-Chief's Trophy Series, awarded to each season's winner of the Triangular Series among Army, Navy, and Air Force since 1972. The Army-Navy matchup is one of the most special matchups in all of college football, and may be one of my favorite games to sit down and watch year in and year out. And this year's a little special as both teams are fighting for bowl eligibility. I hope to get out to the game one of these days, as it is one of my bucket list games along with the Iron Bowl and the game. But what do you think? Who will you be rooting for this season? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more college football content, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.
God, a lot of information. A lot of information. So, they've obviously been playing this game for a long time. 1879, 1880, whatever. First game was the 1890 something, whatever. I can't remember. There's so many stats in this video. So obviously the rivalry is there. 2 branches of the military going up against each other for a long time. This is 100 and something meeting that's happened. So it's fairly tight in the win loss. There is a little stack up against Navy, but that was very interesting. Very interesting. So I didn't quite catch what schools they are. You know, obviously I guess they're both military schools. So let me know. Let me know. It's probably a stupid question, but I think that was something I missed. Obviously, they're both schools. So, yeah, I would love to see that. I never even knew this game existed. So, obviously, as I said, it's obviously been going for a long time. There's obviously quite strong following for both teams, you know. So, you know, if you've ever had anybody in the army, you probably obviously go for the people, you know, army and everything, etc. So that was very interesting. A lot of stats, most of it, I don't know what he was talking about. I'm assuming it's how many played, won, lost, and drew, and whatever else. So don't ask me what they were over my head. But it was very interesting information. So I can see how that would get very intense with that as well too. So, you know, there's already a rivalry between the branches of the military. You know, America's got more branches than we do here in Australia. You know, you've got your Marines and everything else like that. So we don't have Marines here. So, you know, that rivalry is already there. So, and when it comes down to sport, that's obviously going to intensify as well too. So that was very interesting. Very, very interesting. So if you have any more information, like I said, schools, etc., let me know in the comment section. I'd love to know, and I might even look at some highlights of this rivalry as well too. So maybe some of the entrances of it too. So guys, thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure you stay safe, and I will definitely see you in the next reaction video. Did you enjoy that video? Why not watch another one?